just said, you got approximately 900 million people in the subcontinent who believe in the heart of their heart something different than what you said.
Yeah.
And this happened in the past 100 years or 50 years through RSS and this continuous movement that they have put forward. So how would you, and what you said is correct. I mean, he was a great pious king. We all believe in that. But you were talking to a small choir over here.
Yeah.
But you got that huge population out there that believes in something else.
For sure.
How are you going to defend that? You know, how are you going to go out there and argue and tell this guy sitting over there? And you probably know this, recently the Aurangzeb Road, a very famous road in Delhi, the name has been changed to Abul Kalam Road now. So there's massive, very deliberate propaganda going on in India with a Hindu majority saying that Aurangzeb is a shame on us that we tolerate Aurangzeb. So how are you going to answer that question that they raised about everything that you talked about him killing his brothers, fighting with them, and they said that he imprisoned his father, and they also talk about destroying temples. They talk about their big hero in Maharashtra, and how would you defend all that? How would you tell them it's not right? It is correct. It is incorrect historically.
No, seriously, that's such a wonderful eloquent Josiah khair there, and it's important. That's why we need to train historians, right? We need to make sure that I love physicians, I love lawyers, I love engineers, but Muslim Indians have also always been incredible historians, and we need to train historians. And for me, when I have to answer that question, or when I'm in class and we talk about this, the most important thing is that we have to make analogies, right? We have to talk about. So for example, a great analogy is Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln, I think he's an incredible guy. I love the Gettysburg Address. He killed thousands of Confederate soldiers, triple the amount of Aurangzeb. And you have to bring these historical parallels. Nobody cancels Abraham Lincoln in America besides, certain southern states. You have to talk about what does it mean to be a political ruler and commit state violence, right? The United Nations, right? We have to talk about this idea of empire. We have to define what an empire is. I spent a summer in southern Lebanon when I was in college, between the border of occupied Palestine and Lebanon. And there is a United Nations complex on the border with Sri Lankan soldiers. That should be a violation of their territorial sovereignty, right? So this idea of empire, of invasion, that has changed in different ways. So we have to make analogies, we have to talk very intelligent, we have to understand the world around us, that he is living, that if he were to live today, he would be one of the most ethical political leaders of all time. We have to be able to talk about it intelligently, make very, very logically airtight and sharp analogies, right? Modern leaders, we can even think about, I don't know who's Democrat here, Joe Biden, and I'm gonna say this, sent thousands of black boys to prison, right? Spent 20, 30 years, right? The three offense rule, I think. Right? These are very violent things, right? What is a prison but a form of a death sentence, right? Tens of thousands of black kids. Nobody's calling him a genocidal XYZ. You need to talk about what other Indian kings did. You need to talk. We have, and obviously history comes into play. Aurangzeb did destroy 16 temples. Ashoka destroyed double that amount. We need to talk about that, right? We need to make that important. We need to talk about what the Hindu temples were also military barracks. Especially in Banaras. Let me just finish, sorry, 1 second. And that we need to make sure that when we talk about these things, that we are able to present it in ways that make sense. For example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran says, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِن رَسُولٍ إِلَّا بِلِسَانِ قَوْمِهِ لِيُبَيِّنَ لَهُمْ. That Allah has not sent any prophet to their people except that prophet can make it clear through the values of their own qawm. So if we are not able to defend Aurangzeb's legacy in the language of today, we can't use I love the Mughals more than anybody. I can't use Mughal language to defend Aurangzeb. We have to come up with better language, better tools. We need to study political theology. We need to study Foucault. We need to study Western philosophy. We need to make these arguments. It's honestly, defending Aurangzeb is very easy. I believe if someone is really well historically trained. The issue is that nobody's sending our kids to study history. Right? When I wanted to do history in college, my own nani's sister, my nani's own sister, told me when I told her I was doing South Asian history, told me that, why are you wasting your time with Indian history? You should study British history. Can you believe that? I love her to death, but that's not uncommon, right? And I didn't, but luckily I loved the Mughals so much that I didn't care what anybody told me, and I went the next 4 years and I got my graduate degree.
By
right?
the way, Aurangzeb supported the largest numbers of temples through grants.
True, yes.
Even the largest
yes.
number of grants.
As a Maulana, I disagree with that, so I'm not going to mention it. Because, like, as a king, as a Muslim king, you should not be supporting or raising other Muslim temples, but we can, yeah,
I mean,
that is true.
He has given lots of grants
Yeah.
to support his people.
Jazakallah for the sanctity of time. We're going to close our session. Inshallah, we can.